Welcome back to the Reign of Jafar set champs here at House Rules Gaming, presented by Ink Archive. Um, I'm Tyler back. We got Briar back. We're going into round two here. I believe our two players here, we have Jose and Alex. I believe one of them is on Racers, which will be pretty interesting to see. I know that Racers have gotten a bunch of support the past couple of sets, especially with a couple of the King Candies, relatively new Wreck-It Ralph, the uninkable one, a couple of things like that. And then I believe our other player is on. What do we got over there, Briar?
It is actually amethyst steel.
Oh, okay.
We see some amethyst steel here, just kind of like your typical amethyst steel. But the interesting thing is, he's only playing one action in this. Through the
Oh, okay.
whole entire thing, he's only playing one action, but he is having some of these cards like Dump Truck here that we've seen that does ping 1 damage when it gets played, so which is great. And it is going to be a fun game. And it looks like we are ready to go
Yep,
here.
we're all set. We'll switch over to gameplay in just a second here. I'm super excited. We have Amber Ruby and Amethyst Steel, two color pairings that like Amethyst Steel is consistently pretty good. There have been a bunch of different variations for the deck. We've seen more aggressive versions, we've seen more mid range versions, um we've seen a bunch of different things, and I'm curious as to it looks like this is more of the aggressive version. Um, Really looking to like close the game out with Smees and Cobras and Genies and just really present problem threats. Racers, again, these decks are both pretty fast. They just want to end the game, so this will probably be just very fast and very just like, oh, both of us are going to try to end the game as quickly as we can without interacting with their opponent as much as we
Yeah, no, that's definitely what it seems like. And it actually looks like the racers are going to be focusing on like that aggro type of vibe to it with no locations. It's not playing anything around the locations, it's definitely playing around, putting some damage on the characters and kind of just doing some like fun little things, bringing them back from the discard.
yeah.
And it looks like this is going to be a really cool and fun way and fun deck to kind of watch.
We see Jose say, yep, okay, thank you. Just making sure. Jose playing this dock and not using the trigger. Just doesn't have another 2-drop to play. Um Actively just wants to keep up with what his opponent is doing. I know that like he sees this Vanellope and goes, "Oh, it's probably racers or probably something similar," and knows that that's aggressive. So just wants to get bodies down on the board to just keep questing, keep pushing lore, and not fall behind his opponent, because that is one problem that Amethyst Steel can have, is that it um will fall behind racers. And you do not want to fall behind racers at all. So we'll have to see. Jose bringing the stock back, so he does get the opportunity that if he wants to play it later, he can, and starts getting damage down on the other characters on the other side here, starting to slow them down a little bit. Um, Decide what Jose is doing for the rest of, or sorry, Alex is doing here. Just Ink and Brawl, getting down one of these many rush characters, taking out the fox, kind of resetting the game, questing for 2. Um, Putting Jose in kind of a, not a weird spot, but like kind of a, okay, now he's got this thing like quest for 2. I'm still on this Diablo, so hopefully he has more aggressive cards in his hand. I do see that Madam Mim Snake um probably wants to get that down pretty soon, but getting this rabbit down this turn isn't bad either. It can challenge things relatively okay, and he does not care if it gets banished because it'll have drawn him a bunch of cards. Um, so we'll have to see if he decides to try and just accrue value, or he had another fox and it was hiding. Very good play on Jose here to get Get this 2-quester out of the way. He does not want racers to get out in front of him, very funnily enough, which is what race cars do.
Yeah, no, these racers, race cars, our drivers here are definitely off to some races at some point or getting ready to do some racing, and it is going to be some fun things to see. And sadly, we're losing a lot of racers. Our
Yeah,
racers are definitely crashing right now. But however, we do get to see a non-racer card. Yeah, you heard me right. That is a non-racer card, and that is Dale.
I
We get to
just
see a Dale
I
now.
just want everybody to know that our man on production is popping off because he loves Chip and Dale.
Yeah, no, the Chippendale is
Um,
his favorite character.
but I do like this Dale. The fact that he just says, hey, take the top 3, put them into your discard, and you can you give something minus strength. He doesn't care about the strength so much, but Racers loves its discard pile. It feels like a search pile for them half the time, where it's like, oh, I need a card this turn. Let me play a card that lets me find the other card. Um, you just kind of use your discard as a toolbox. Um, and that's all it Racers wants to do. So this Dale does a very good job, and I think it's relatively well statted too. Being a 3/4 is like not the worst for him. It does challenge this board fairly well. And he can like take out this rabbit and hope that Jose wants to take it out with his fox and hopefully kind of 2-for-1 ish Jose here. I know he'll draw a card with the rabbit, but I think getting this rabbit off the table as soon as possible, not letting Jose play a bunch of Madam Mims and bouncing it back to his hand a bunch is pretty important too. Oh, and we see the shift now too.
Oh, we got the shift Chip and Dale here. Oh, we are seeing some cards being played today. This is going to be a fun one, and this Chip and Dale is great because one, it shifts,
Yeah.
and not just shifts on it on characters. It shifts on any Chip and Dale.
Yeah. It could be any
This
chip, any
is
Dale, anything.
this is great, and seeing this coming down, and then being able to put, or whenever he does put a card in his inkwell, he gets to grab a card from his
Yep.
discard.
Exactly what I was saying.
This is a great card to kind of have here, literally making that discard a toolbox.
Yeah.
It literally makes it a toolbox.
And
Grab whatever he wants.
questing for 3 is huge, especially against Jose right now, where his board is like, oh, I have to use everything to get rid of this Chip and Dale if they do quest with it. Like he has to subtract his entire board to do it, which is not what he wants to do. Um, so that's this Chip and Dale might stick around, and he could even like Alex next turn could attack or challenge with this Chip and Dale, ink a card, and then go grab that Rapunzel, and then just draw a bunch of cards off it. Like I don't hate that play if Jose doesn't respect it. Then he might just get blown up by Racers drawing way too many cards that it should not draw.
Yeah, no, this could be a really fun way just to get a bunch of cards from the deck to the hand, and literally grabbing again whatever he wants to do, whatever he needs. He needs a healing, great. He needs something that quests, great, cool. He's got it. He's going to have it immediately and being able to play it. But I don't know. This might be a little rough here because we see our friend here questing for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And he might outrace him a little bit. Literally outrace him.
Yeah, I think if I'm Alex here, you definitely have to. Yep, he's grabbing that Rapunzel. I do think he has to attack. Yep, he can challenge the Fox and then do the Rapunzel. Just extremely smart heads up play here to draw a bunch of cards and still force Jose that if he wants to get rid of this Chip and Dale that will keep doing this every turn, basically. He has to use a ton of his board to do it. Even now, even though it's got a damage marked on, he has to throw both of this Cobra and this snake, and even better that draw a bunch of cards. He didn't get to play anything else off the back of it, which is like what I really would have hoped to do, but I don't think it's too big of a deal. He got enough value off of this Chip and Dale and Rapunzel, so we'll really have to see what Jose, especially Jose, looking at 2 docks in his hand. That always gets kind of awkward for this deck. So he's really gonna have to play like the rabbit and probably this crab and just start hopefully getting value that way, and maybe at some point just throw these docks down and get value out of them. love when you get stuck with a bunch of docks in your hand for Amethyst Steel. It's just one of the things that always seems to happen to this deck. Every time I've played it, every time I've seen other people play, it's just, hey, what do you have in your hand? 2 docks. Every time.
Yeah, no, Doc is definitely a card that's very common to see multiples of in this deck. It's definitely a fun thing. Well, what's nice too is we also got this rabbit. We can play both
Yep.
and actually get a little bit more card draw if we need to, so we don't have to rely on the Doc as our only card draw option, which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many Amethyst Steel decks that like play both Doc and Rabbit, and I don't hate it for Jose. It gives him a nice little, hey, if I need the game to, if I want to try to be a little more grindy with this Rabbit, I can. If not, I just play this Doc and start hopefully getting more Cobras and more things that just start pushing the end game.
Now, we get to see a Wreck-It Ralph here.
Yeah.
A Wreck-It Ralph that's big lug Wreck-It Ralph. He gonna be lugging some things around, and whenever you do get to play this character and quest, we get to grab any racer. We get to grab a racer. This is great, and then gain 1 lore on top of it. Man, he's got a lot of racers in this discard, and there's some good ones. Like he's got, what is it? Gloyd is one of them in there that he's got. So that Gloyd can gain him some lore, make opponent lose lore. He could be doing some really good stuff here.
Yeah, it harps back to what I said earlier with like, it's just the discard is so much of a toolbox for him that he just gets to do whatever he wants. He, like you said, he needs removal in the form of like rush characters. He's got it. He needs to drain his opponent with like, hey, you lose one, I gain one with this Gloyd over and over and over again. If he needs, even the one of the newer Wreck-It Ralphs, he's a 4/2 that when he comes in, he gives something +4 power. Like, it's a crab for this deck. We know how strong crab is, and just having a bunch of crabs over and over and over again with Wreck-It Ralph is very good. And we see Jose with 3 docks now in his hand, and I have a feeling that he wants to. Is he going to use that trigger, or is he going to wait for the next one? He might wait for the next one. I don't hate that play.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
wants to get bodies down.
he just seemed pretty happy having 3 docs in his hand. It looked really happy there.
Yeah, happy's a word I could use. Um, he's got a decent board state though. Like he's not doing that bad. He just has to be mindful of all of the things that Alex can do with his discard. It can be kind of overwhelming knowing that your racer's opponent has like 7 cards in his hand right now or something. He has a ton of cards in his hand, and also just being like, I also have to keep an eye on their discard a ton because it's just not something you have to do a ton in this game. Is like keep a huge eye on their discard. Sometimes you do. Like, oh, how many be prepared if they played? But like also having to be like, okay, what tools does he have access to that he can just keep getting back with all of these racers, and the fact that he has like 6 cards.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a different learning aspect of this, and it's definitely something new that this deck has definitely brought in. I mean, we've seen a little bit of the kind of like keeping an eye on the discard and what cards are with Half Shark being introduced in the game of grabbing back actions, and that's been a card that's been played quite a bit as we've seen in round 1 already, and then probably even some more in the future here as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
But
surprised.
this is definitely taking that to a whole new level because it's not just actions. We are seeing characters, and characters can do a lot of damage and do a lot of different things that actions can't really do sometimes.
This is getting crazy for Alex. He's just really starting to build this board, and since we know Jose just has a bunch of docks in his hand, it gets kind of scary if he doesn't hit anything good off these docks. But he does see a Cobra. Cobra's very nice for him right now. Actually, I think it just wins in the game. I actually didn't even say it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cobra wins. I mean, he also had the goat too if he really wanted to do that.
yeah.
But he just want to go out in style, get that extra 21
3
type
docks in
thing.
his hand and still got the game. Um,
Somehow.
Well, I mean, he's got all those docks in his hand, so all the rest of his cards typically end up just having lore on their triggers, on their on play triggers. I think Alex was really starting to get into the rhythm of that game. It was just that Jose always had something to play, always, 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 even if it wasn't the dock. And I think it was really smart for him to never like he played like 2 or 3 docks and never used the triggers, which is not something you see very often.
Yeah, no, we don't see that. That's very rare. Do you ever see that happen?
Yeah. It was pretty heads up from him. I mean, he had a bunch of cards in his hand. You don't want to discard them. But sometimes it's just even when he had 2 other docks in his hand, he still was like, I'm gonna hold on to these docks for just another turn, just get that other body out there to hopefully quest with, and just push the end of the game, and then just happened to get Cobra and Goat in his hand to finish the game off.
Yeah, it is definitely a way to end the game. Is just finding those enter abilities that gain you the lore,
Yeah,
like Goat, like the Cobra here, and gaining just lore off of that. And those cards alone are definitely some powerful cards that have won games multiple times in the past, and we are still seeing them being played and winning games here today.
yeah. I mean, when you have something that says, "Hey, on play, gain a lore," and you're at 19, it's just like, oh, you didn't have anything to worry about. You just won the game. That's why they're so strong. They just steal games out from nowhere. Um, it's why we see them today. It's why even though Goat is like, I mean, Goat also has like amazing stats for what it does. I don't think he's on any of the White Rose. That one has been in and out of Amethyst Steel lists for a while. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was. He's not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was. Like there are so many different iterations, and you just kind of pick and choose. Hey, which triggers do I actually care about for like my style of deck? Um, and Jose decided that White Rose was not one of them.
You know what I just realized? He is only playing 2 rabbits.
I think he saw them both then, didn't he? Or did he only
He's
ever play the
I
one?
think he might have saw both.
Maybe.
And wow.
Yeah.
First of all, wow.
Then
2
all of his
rabbits.
docs.
Yeah, he sees all the docks, but only 1 or 2 rabbits, and that's all
Yeah.
he saw. All right. Well, hey, there's your card draw.
Yeah.
You got your card draw. That's all you needed.
On the racer side of things, I think it's. I mean, racers is very much like it's going to be playing all the racers. I do see the Calhoun. From the I think the latest set. I do quite like this card, especially like in limited. Oh, it's from set 7. Okay. I do quite like this card. I liked it in limited. It's just hey, when you play this character, you can choose a discard a card to give a chosen opposing -3 power. Until the start of your next turn, which is nice because it's like, oh, you have a thing to challenge. I can protect my thing and fill my discard to go get it back later if I really want. Which is nice.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good card for here, because you can have your racers challenging into some of your opposing characters,
Yeah.
and either letting them kind of survive an extra turn, or just put them enough to, put some damage on to heal it with that Rapunzel, which is even better.
So going into the second game here, we see Dump Truck. Not a character we see a ton of. He just comes down and he things a thing for 1. And I think that Jose really likes this. Just get like Curse Merfolk and any of like those 1-cost characters that come down that can be quite problematic. Followers, Diablos, Merfolks, anything like that. Can just go, hey, I don't have to deal with that card anymore. Even this Vanellope that his opponent's playing now, being a 3/1 with Rush, like, oh, I just have this Dump Truck and I can get rid of this powerful card that like threatens to trade with something and just hey, and then you're just gonna quest a Dump Truck, and if it gets 1 lore, it's done its job. Um, I do quite like the inclusion of this Dump Truck
Yeah,
quite
no,
a bit.
Dump Truck is definitely a fun card to see here. It's a new card that came out here in the Reign of Jafar set, and I've been liking it.
Yeah.
Playing around with it, it's been really fun. Just kind of being able to put some damage on something, and of course we see the smart thing here: playing a snake to bounce it back to hand, so he can play it again next turn and knock out and banish this Vanellope, because it's both Vanellopes currently on the field do only have 1 more willpower left.
Yeah. Um, yeah, and then he has followers in his hand too, so he does get to play. He can like play 1 drop plus a 2 drop, or both of his 1 drops. I'd probably expect to see his 2 and then 1. And then, like you said, he gets to choose which Vanellope he wants to deal with. Most likely, it's this 3/1 rusher, and I think his opponent realizes that. So it's just you might as well get the lore out of it while you can. And I have to imagine that Snake. Oh, actually, Snake can't actually take anything out here either. I think made the smart heads up play, got rid of one of his racers to make this Snake -3 strength, so that it cannot challenge anything else. So he doesn't lose too much of his board this turn.
Yeah, no, he's not going to lose a whole lot. Just the Dump Truck coming down if he does get to play that, and knocking out and banishing a character. And we see actually playing a crab here, giving the 3 strength to knock out the
Okay.
character. So now we get to cancel out pretty much what that Calhoun did. It
Yeah.
did pretty much nothing at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it does force Jose to have to play his crab, which is like not nothing. It obviously is good for Jose because it's a character that is also on the board, which I think is what he wants. Maybe trying to save this dump truck for something that's a little more threatening. By getting this Rapunzel down, and
Yeah.
then now just drawing 3 cards for it again, making huge use of the Rapunzels in this match here.
Yeah, no, these Rapunzels are definitely going to be drawing some cards and putting some damage in is going to be a great thing. And we've seen it last game, and now we're seeing it in this game here as well.
Yeah. Um, Especially this early too. I know we saw it early last game, but I think he's got a bit better of a board state. I think the only last time he only had the Chip and Dale, and while very strong, it was the only thing he really had access to, and I think that was really where he started to fall behind. Whereas now he has a bit more of a board state, even if he is prone to losing it to some amount of it to this dump truck if it comes down. He Jose does have a genie in his hand too. I wonder if he at one point he wants to try to get that down. He might try to get it down. I wonder like if he ever does try to play this dump truck, when is it actually going to come down again, if ever?
Yeah, no, I mean it's definitely a thing of when is it coming down because it doesn't look like it's coming down right now anytime soon. But we do get to see another crab coming out, and then having crab challenging into the Calhoun, and then there is
Yeah.
the dump truck is back.
I guess he just didn't feel too threatened by this Vanellope and says, "I have this dump truck and I can get rid of it whenever I want." And it doesn't matter. Like yeah, it'll gain a little bit of lore, but I think the fact that he's going to spend 1 ink to get rid of his opponent's 2 ink thing is so high up on the ink trade that he doesn't care too much. Doing Rapunzel on herself, apparently. Getting 3 more cards. This is extremely strong from Alex's side here.
Yeah, I mean we just see a Rapunzel now, and then another Rapunzel, and I mean, are we going to see another Rapunzel? Do you think we're going to see another Rapunzel this game?
Probably.
I mean, as much cards draws, I think so. I mean, we're
If
gonna
this goes to a
see.
game 3, definitely.
Let's see. Did he draw a Rapunzel? I don't think he drew a Rapunzel
No,
off
he doesn't
one.
have
It
one.
doesn't look like it.
No.
Oh man, that'd been fun seeing all the Rapunzels. Just play all 4 Rapunzels. You know, just get them all down,
Yeah.
heal all your characters, get all that much draw. I think if you play 4, I don't know what your opponent's gonna be doing if you play all 4. I don't know if your opponent just.
I might lose my sanity if somebody did that to me.
Yeah, I would think so. That'd be pretty much what we do.
So this will be able to challenge the Rapunzel with the crab trigger. Super nice for Jose here. He's falling not too far behind in like the his hand size compared to his opponent, but his cards are also like kind of okay. They're kind of like the genie's the best thing in his hand right now. Obviously, like being able to push a bunch of lore, start racing his opponent. His opponent doesn't have too many evasive stuff in the deck, so he does want to rely on this genie to try and start ending the game. He does have the rabbit, which is very nice. Start drawing some cards that way, but he's doing okay. But his opponent also just has so many cards.
Oh
Um,
yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of cards in hand. We do get, you know what it looks like? It looks like we have the Dale in his hand here. So we might be seeing this Dale come down, putting some cards in the discard, and then it looks like we have a few. It looks like we have a Gloid, so he can discard some Gloids here. He also has the Calhoun, that came out in this recent set, or I'm sorry, last set. That is a Shift Calhoun, and it pretty much returns racers back to the hand again. Another option to return racers from the discard
yeah,
back to the
I
hand.
think he's got the Calhoun. He's got the um, Ralph, the big Ralph that we saw earlier, and the King Candy that also gets them back. And I guess Chip and Dale counts. But the ones that specifically get racers, he's got three like play sets of them all, if not playing like maybe missing a copy here and there. That's a lot. We even see him down and Candy Drift coming down. Candy Drift's cool. I do quite like this card. He will have to sacrifice it, or it'll get banished at the end of the turn. But I think he just wants to do it to draw some cards. Doesn't quite care about this 2/2. Just wants to exchange it for something new.
Yeah, I mean, King Candy first of all is just great because whenever one of your character erasers is banished, your opponent has to choose one of their characters to get banished, which is great. I mean, this King Candy can definitely clear some boards. This could be really fun just to see having because I mean, if you have all your racers quest They don't even have to challenge. They just quest, and your opponent has to answer them.
Yeah.
And then King Candy goes, "You thought you were answering them. No, you're dead too. You're gone. All your characters are gone."
Yeah. Now we do see the Elsa, so that's a huge thing for Jose to get this King Candy off the table. Like you said, this King Candy was just going to sit there and always go, "Hey, you're always going to trade with me, always, always, always." And getting this Elsa down and getting rid of it pretty early was very, very nice. We do see the Cobra in Jose's hand, and he's looking at the Genie and the Rabbit. So not particularly cards that he wants to discard to this Cobra. I think he's going to probably try to see what he gets in next turn, and maybe see if that's worth keeping in his hand. But I would probably be. He's probably incentivized to keep both of those two cards in his.
Yeah, now we get to see this Wreck-It Ralph come back down, and we're going to see some more racers coming out. I'm ready for this racing action.
I wonder what he gets here.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. But I mean,
King Candy.
King Candy, it's probably an obvious option.
Well, I wasn't sure if he wanted the Gloid. I wouldn't hate getting the Gloid down and just start like you're gaining lore, they're losing lore. Keep Jose down. He's not too high, so it doesn't matter too much. But also, as I said earlier, Amethyst still just has the ability to go, hey, now I'm at like 15 from triggers alone, not even questing. And so you wonder if he's like, oh, well, I'll get this other thing that's a little more chilly to do, and I don't care if it gets banished for whatever reason, especially against something that's so interactive like Amethyst.
Yeah. I mean, we got Genie down here, which is great, and we see a Doc in hand and a Shmi. So those are some cards he's been drawing this turn. So he has some 2 of the 2-cost characters. So we have the Doc to replenish for the Cobra here in the hand, so which is great. So he can get some more cards just from Cobra triggers and from this Doc trigger, which would be great, and get some closer to the game.
Yeah, I think he's at. Yep, he's at 6. I think that's what he want to do is get Genie and Smee down this turn. He might in the next turn go Rabbit into Doc, and just probably ink like play Rabbit, draw a card, and then ink it and do it. Like he's not too interested in everything else. He just wants to get these cards out of his hand. He might even not care about the Rabbit too much. He might just play the Doc and then play whatever he gets back off the back of the Doc, depending on what he would prefer.
Now, we see another Wreck-It Ralph come down. Another Wreck-It Ralph, but he grabbed Vanellope.
Okay.
So he grabbed Vanellope this time, so which is going to be an interesting choice. I mean, there's no shift targets in this deck for Vanellope, which is quite interesting. He's not playing any of the shifts, so because there's like the Princess shift, but that's not going to really do anything in the racers. But he's got some decent racers in here. We're going to grab another Vanellope. This is our 1-cost Vanellope, where is Sugar Rush Champ. I mean, we're grabbing that one. And she's only a 1-cost 2/2, but she is a racer, so he might just want to bring her out just so that he can send it in and have these characters just knock out, take out characters. And he does have the King Candy in hand.
Yeah,
too.
I was gonna say I have a feeling he has the King Candy in his hand, so he doesn't mind getting like these more like these things that he's gonna turn sideways and then go ahead, challenge him. You'll lose your board state for it, and he just doesn't care, and he wants them to be cheap so he can keep deploying them over and over and over, so he's not wasting too much ink every turn on trying to play like characters that are going to do the same thing that she's doing with this King Candy.
Definitely. Yeah, this is definitely going to be some ways for these characters to go in, but we're starting to see Jose here build a board. He's got a board setting up here, and we've got Cobra. We've got a strength. Oh, we see a strength being sung here, knocking out a character, which he's going for that Wreck-It Ralph, of course.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Especially because he wants to start getting rid of them before, like he knows the King Candy's in his hand, so he wants to get rid of it before the King Candy comes down, so he's not banishing his own board for the King Candy.
Yeah, and now we get to see the Doc being played. We finally get to use the effect, and Diablo comes down, and it's going to be interesting.
You mean Doc has an effect?
Yeah, Doc has an effect.
Oh,
apparently.
really?
Apparently, he has an effect.
Jose really doesn't like using it. Apparently,
I know he hasn't used it. He didn't use it at all the last game, but now we get to see it actually happen.
Yeah,
he did lose the Cobra, however.
I don't think it's a big deal. He's only at 2. Like,
yeah,
I don't. I don't think he cares so much about this Cobra. I think he has enough of a board to begin with. He just wants to keep the pressure on. The more he can keep the pressure on, the more he can hopefully try to stabilize. And while it is like a fine threat in that it is a 4/4, he has meaningful things on the board anyway, like the snake, the Elsa, the Smee, even the rabbit. Like they can challenge relatively well. The only thing is this King Candy is going to start causing some issues.
Yeah, and we now see Snowana. Is that is that
Yeah, I
is
think
that
it's
what it is?
Snowana Rainbow.
Man, coming in with a rush.
Yeah.
This is going to start taking out some of these characters here. Just surprise, we get to take out, and then now we also have the King Candy coming out. So if Snowana gets banished, well, guess what? They're losing something else too.
That's where this Vanellope just did it. So he's got a Snowana having 4 willpower against this me was actually just kind of nice, honestly. Even though they don't get the King Candy trigger, um, next turn Snowana can likely take something out again, and then also banish herself, and then take out another thing. So this Snowana will, along with this King Candy, put a lot of work in. Before Jose finding another Elsa
Wow.
to take care of this King Candy before it could do too much damage.
These Elsas are coming in
Yeah,
clutch, coming in.
they
I mean,
are.
he's getting them right when he needs them, taking out the King Candies, and literally not letting these racers come back.
No. Though Jose has to be a little careful. We see Alex here pushing up to 17 and now 18. He's very, very close to just ending the game if he finds. Oh, he does. I think maybe the lore tracker was a little not up to date. That's okay. Um, or Jose maybe conceded.
I think Jose could see because he was at 11 lore though.
Yeah.
And it was getting close and saw that there was just ways to
Yep.
get his characters gaining lore quickly and easy. So
He was seeing the red. And that's fine. Knowing honestly knowing when you're out of a game is a skill that not every player has. You really want to save. We're going for five rounds, and if you make top cut, that is 8 rounds in a day, 7 rounds in a day. It's a lot for players, and you really start to lose steam. So not knowing when to give up per se, um, is a skill that players really really have to kind of hone. It's like, hey, when am I truly out of this game? When do I have no outs? There's a lot of players that even myself on league nights, I draw my card and I know I'm like in my head I know I've lost the game, but you're fighting to try and find your win, and there's just nothing there, and you're wasting time, and you're wasting your brain power, and you don't want to do that in a long event. Be super detrimental to your minds, like your minds that
yeah,
were there.
definitely. I've definitely ran into my few times of that. I play a lot of Amber Steel Song and playing Whole New World. Sometimes you just have to go to the game too, and it's not a fun time.
You
It's one of those that always happens, and especially to me. I just always, I guess, brick and just have multiple Whole New Worlds in my hand. And what am I
listen,
doing? Nothing.
listen. Coming from a lot of players have played a bunch of other games, and the motto I have for Whole New World is you live by the draw 7 and you lose by the draw 7. Sometimes you get there, and sometimes you
A lot of
so
times for me, it's a don't.
well,
I
that
always
might
lose it
be a
when I
skill
play
issue,
it.
buddy.
Well, things happen. Things happen. The Dex
um,
doesn't like me.
but Jose here, going on the play, that's going to be a huge, huge opportunity for him. He, going on the play in Lorcana is already pretty strong. But I think for especially his deck in particular, it is very, very strong. Just because he doesn't ever want to fall behind racers, and the best way to do that is to be proactive and always start questing first, and always just be, hey, we're always he's always questing, he's always taking the initiative, he's always doing the first thing to enforce racers to try to interact with him rather than the other way around. I think that's where even last game, like he, the racers was forcing him, like Alex was forcing him to initiate with him, and he doesn't want to be doing it.
Yeah, no, that's that. You definitely want them more to interact against you, and you want to quest as far as you can and as much as you can, so that your opponent just challenges into your characters, tries to banish them, and then this King Candy just does its work
Yeah.
and helps take your little weaker characters and pretty much make them almost infinite and just strong and just
Yeah.
being able to take out anything at that point.
Well, another one of the skills that's really like something that you have to learn for this game is like how do you turn the corner? How do you going first is so strong. How does in this example like how does racers turn the corner here and start taking the initiative? Because that's what you really have to um that's a skill that you have to see and be like, okay, this turn I can take the initiative and now I'm the problem player and they have to start dealing with me. It's just one of those things that can be very, very difficult to figure out in this game.
Well, I'll tell you an easy way. They're cars. It's called turning the wheel. You
That's
literally just turn the wheel to the left or the right, whatever direction you need to go. You go, "Err," and then there you go. You got it.
I
You're
might need
right
to
there.
find a new caster.
Hey,
I'm kidding. No, we love Briar here. We love Briar here. Um, yeah, no, I mean, you're right. Cars do turn. That's what they do.
first turn. Er.
Um, this oh, okay. We never mind. We see the rush. I do quite like this. Get this off the table. I wasn't sure if he was going to have to throw this two quester into it. And he doesn't. So he's actually this is like one of those turns where like Racers hasn't quite turned the corner, but also they're tied up, and Jose now does not have a board, and he has to decide like, hey, um, what do I do here? Um, to get back, not get back into this game, but like get myself on the board again. Just replays the Smee. Has this Fox in his hand, which is good for him. He probably will be able to take out this two quester relatively soon, but he needs to do it before it's too late.
Yeah, no, this Shmi can definitely get questing pretty quickly. And we now, you know what? We see another dock. And
A
you know
no
what
trigger.
hasn't happened yet? No effect.
Yep.
Hasn't done the effect. No effect yet. This doc
Uh,
is doing a lot of work. This doc is doing a lot of work.
Yeah, well, I think he likes the cards in his hand currently, and I don't entirely blame him. He's got the genie, he's got a fox, and I can't quite see the other card in his hand. Um, can't quite see it. What is it?
I'm
Might
not
be a
for sure.
cobra.
It might be a cobra.
Racers coming down with another two quester here, starting to apply quite a bit of pressure. Um, so George or Jose, I keep saying George. Jose has to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, no, definitely being careful here because I mean we have some characters that can
That was a
knock
crab.
out all of these taffetas here pretty easily. And of course, seeing Crab now having Doc challenging into it is definitely a little rough, but we could bounce back this Doc and actually use its effect if we
Yeah,
see a snake or we
we
even
know he has
see
a
a fox.
fox.
So he has fox, so then perfect. Then yeah, so he can bounce
The
this back and
issue
we'll be good.
that Jose is going to really run into, he's on 3 ink right now, or he might be on 4 because he did play 2. Yeah, he's on 4. That's all he's on right now. Now typically this deck doesn't need to operate on much more than 4. Um, but he does need to be mindful of like, hey, do I need to go to 5? Like, do I need to be able to play my 3 drops and 2 drops in the same turn relatively soon here? And with like very little cards in his hand, he's got to make that decision soon. Like you said, he does have the dock um to bounce it with the fox, and so he can replay it and use the effect. He actually has a snake in his hand too. Um
Yeah, the Diablo came in clutch, being banished off of the King Candy's effect, so
yeah.
that you can play a snake and be pretty cheap. But instead, we are going for the genie, grabbing some extra cards from the deck, and seeing what we can do. Maybe even outrace the racers.
Maybe. Racers being on 2 cards here. We did not see that Rapunzel on turn 4. He actually ended up inking one here we see last turn. Um just not having anything that could sustain holding damage for a turn for to get value off of this Rapunzel. Looks like he has 2 of the big Chip and Dale in his hand. Unfortunately, getting stuck with these uninkables, and then a Candy Drift that he can't really play at the moment. Unfortunately, it banishes. So they do the Candy Drift draws a card, gives 5 strength to something this turn. and then banishes that character at the end of the turn, and does not really want to use that on this King Candy. He really needs this King Candy to pop off a bit for him. But with these Chip and Dales, he's in a pickle here.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a little rough. There's no real way to get the racers back. He's not finding any of those cards to grab his racers back from the discard.
Yeah,
That's a little rough, and he has a bunch of those, as we know. I mean, when we see the Chip and Dale, that is in his hand, but I don't know if he has enough ink for it yet. I think he's still shy, of about 2 ink, I believe, and he's got to wait at least another turn to even get to play this.
yeah. Meanwhile, Jose's here just building his board state as wide as he can go. Especially this genie, I think, is going to cause issues. I do not think that Racers has a super great answer. I think it has a couple, um, but they're not like inherently amazing at it. And I think he's playing Brawl, and there might be an evasive racer that I'm forgetting about. Um, but even then, he has to pair it with another card. The 3/1 Vanellope. He has to pair it with the Wreck-It Ralph or Candy Drift or something to take out this genie. And I think this genie might start to run away with the game if he does not.
Yeah, no, the genie can definitely run away with this game here, and race it through and not being really worried about being dealt with because there's not really an easy answer for it. And it is pretty much taking 2 cards trying to go into it besides the brawl. And the brawl's still a rough card to kind of do, and he is only going to be playing uh 2 copies of brawl, so he might not see that card option pretty quickly.
Yeah, he might have even inked some earlier. I'm not entirely sure. Um, just seeing him play this Fox, getting it down, and now he's in the driver's seat instead of the racers. Um,
Oh yes.
especially with since we know that Alex has 2 of these Chippendales and just is kind of stuck. Gets to get one down now. Does need to find another inkable card for next turn to trigger it if he wants. Um, I'm not. He's got to bank on seeing that inkable.
Yeah, he has to find an inkable card here and hopefully get something. But it's going to be a rough spot here. Because we are going to just see it being gone here. It didn't stick around for long
Yeah,
with that
has that
strength,
strength of a rising
man.
fire.
I mean, this he lost the driver's seat.
Yeah,
He was there for a little bit, had it going round, going wee wee, and now he's in last.
yeah,
But now we get to see another dock trigger. And he actually used a dock. This is the second time we have seen dock actually being used with its effect.
yeah. But I think
This
we've seen
whole
it
entire
played like
match.
7 times this match. Yeah, and looks like that's it. Yeah, unfortunately, Alex getting stuck with all of these Chippendales. Just kind of bogging his hand down a little bit. Quite unfortunate. But I think both these players played very, very well. Alex did an amazing job in game 2 showing like what racers is really all about, showing hey, my discard is just
Yeah. No, they're all really solid cards here, and they're all really good. Um and this game was really good. It was a
yeah,
fun game, and it definitely was a really good game for both players here.
yeah,
Um so it's been pretty good.
yeah.
Um what seeing these racers coming down and being played, uh sadly didn't get to go off to the races too much. Kind of got in last place, sadly, when or even second place, but didn't get that golden trophy towards the end, that winner trophy. Sadly didn't get it on
And to
this
be
one.
fair, it is only round 2, and so they still have the opportunity to go the distance for the rest of the event. 1 loss isn't too big a deal here.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not the end of the
No.
race. It's just you might not be right there, but it will be really close to getting it.